Advocacy: how to build and sustain a campaign. As we reflect on work that has been accomplished and look ahead, this is an opportune time to create an advocacy plan for coffee, identifying the steps of how to begin and sustain an advocacy campaign. We already advocate for youth, elders, health and nutrition, local food and producers, and community through the work we do and our outreach. Continuing to spread this message through education and other types of advocacy in a strategic manner will provide greater efficiency and effectiveness for spreading our message and accomplishing our mission. There are different types of advocacy: community, legal, and legislative, that can be evaluated with our organizational capacity in mind. What resources do we have? By exploring options and informing our board and staff about the breadth and potential of advocacy in achieving our mission, we can begin a process and create a strategic advocacy plan that will complement our work, impacting our community for good. Who will be involved with advocacy at Coffee? Undertaking the creation of an advocacy plan will enlist the time, skills, and energy of our stakeholders, including board, staff, volunteers, members, clients, donors, and friends. With these stakeholders, we will have a variety of people with a variety of skills and connections to carry out a dynamic plan. Advocacy is the general promotion of a plan. It is seeking to affect some aspect of society. Sometimes it is focusing on individuals and their behavior, or employers about rules, or government about laws. It is addressing the big picture, spreading the message about an issue or cause, educating and influencing. It may involve the public, the courts, laws, and even lobbying. Why do we advocate? As Diana Mason says in her article, "Yes, you can and should." Nonprofits have a fundamentally American role in helping to organize and educate the population for civic action and engagement, and indeed to teach individuals the very basic skills of democracy itself. Long recognized as mediating structures that help to connect the public with institutions, nonprofit organizations represent the perspectives of people in front of decision makers. A strategic plan starts where you are, ends where you want to go, and provides a good, plausible route in between. According to the National Council of Nonprofits, advocacy is easy. We advocate to advance the mission of our nonprofit. To begin this process, we look at our organizational needs. How can we use advocacy to further our mission? A committee to focus on advocacy could be composed of board members, staff, volunteers, and other stakeholders. Research is required. There's research on the issues, laws pertaining to current laws, laws pertaining to advocacy and lobbying, and much more, background information, and so forth. And there are possibilities to form coalitions with other nonprofits to work together and not duplicate the work, but increase power with numbers. Training is critical and ongoing. It's a collaborative effort. We continue by looking outward from the organization. What do we want? What are our objectives? Who can make it happen? Who is our audience? Who are we trying to reach with our message? What do they need to hear? Who do they need to hear it from? Who will be a good messenger to carry that to them so that our audience will hear the message clearly? And how can we make sure they hear it? What do we do to take action? How do we follow through? These are all questions that have to be answered along the way. Advocacy includes a wide variety of tools, depending on the issue, depending on the action desired, and depending on the background, where the organization is coming from. Again, the National Council of Nonprofits has an abundance of information on nonprofit advocacy. One of the pages is entitled Your Policy Tools and Maps, and it encourages advocates to use advocacy tools that fit the need. As Arthur Ashe says, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. With experience, you get better. Trying new tools, applying new tools in different situations improves our skills. Advocates can use more than one tool at a time. There's a dynamic need and opportunities for public policy making. The issues change, the processes change, whether it's local, state, or federal issues. These all require different tools. And sustainability. How are we going to keep this plan alive? Keep it going. To sustain an advocacy plan, a committed organization must regularly evaluate the organization's capacity and strategies. What is the will of the organization? Is there understanding of the process? Is there a commitment? Is the knowledge and skill base growing? What about rules, new laws, changes in laws, processes? What about funding? What are the issues that the organization that we are addressing? What is coffee doing right now? Is there organizational infrastructure in place, or must it be developed? We do need to form a committee. Do we have other infrastructure in place? What resources are available for advocacy within our organization, among our members, among our friends and stakeholders? And then, is the strategy clear on the desired goals and outcomes? Are the decision makers and opponents identified? What are the processes for evaluation of public policy? What about evaluating the organization and our work with advocacy? These are all questions and ongoing efforts to maintain a sustainable advocacy plan. Advocacy is an ongoing process. The National Council of Nonprofits says that advocacy is deeply rooted in the nonprofit's DNA. From before the time our nation was formed through today, citizens, recognizing there is power in numbers, have assembled in groups to influence public policy. So, with committed collaboration, our advocacy efforts will unfold as we move into the emerging future. Thank you for your attention, and are there any questions?